Welcome to the General's Gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to Company of Heroes 2. Today we are casting on the December patch. Very exciting. The December balance preview is no longer a preview, it is now a full patch into the live game of Company of Heroes 2.
Very keen. We have been waiting all day for a replay to get uploaded so we could cast it. We are that keen. Having read the patch notes, and this is the culmination of a lot of work by the guys who put the patch together, and everyone who's put feedback towards the patch as well. So we're very hyped to get into the new live Company of Heroes 2.
And there's so many changes that, it's just worth reading. Go read the patch if you haven't, because there's a lot of changes, and I don't want to be spending every 5 seconds going, well, actually, this thing has changed. The main things, I think, most significantly, are the commanders have been changed, or rather, 3 of them per faction have changed, and we see a couple of them here. So hopefully we'll get to see these new commanders in action. The recon support, mechanized, Feuersturm, and Luftwaffe has actually had some changes, but not a lot of them.
Not huge ones, yeah. Yeah, we'll be keen. So our players representing the hopefully reworked commanders today will be Talisman as our OKW.
And his opponent, Brosras, the US. Fan of both of these players. Brosras being a bit of a baller, having some crazy games, and Talisman being one of the best, doing pretty well in the tournament scene. And this is a map that we haven't casted in a very long time. It's not a very popular map. Very vetoed, and we'll see how it goes. It's a map where MGs are pretty strong because you've got a lot of wide open territory. So the MG34 buff will perhaps incentivize Talisman to go for one of those.
Definitely possible. I mean, Minx was just part of the auto match pool for so long. Potentially, that's one of the reasons we don't see it much. Even good maps, when overplayed, end up getting vetoed. Just like, oh man, I played like my last 20 games on Famenville or something. Let's mix it up a bit. Go for something else. And Minx Pocket certainly was one of our more popular maps to cast on back in the day. RIP Minx Pocket 2v2s.
Oh yeah, it's one of those maps that just should not be in 2v2. Clearly, it was only designed for 1v1 in mind.
Yeah.
It's very strong for light vehicles. I think that's where part of its unpopularity comes from. Is the retreat distance is just so long that if you get caught out by any kind of light vehicle, then you just get wrecked. And the Panzer II is very popular, has been nerfed a little bit, but I think we'll definitely see it, especially because it's bulletin as well. But I guess we're doing the thing that we said we weren't going to, but look at the Kubel damage. That armor reduction, pretty severe. Kubel getting scared of the Echelon.
Yeah, small arms at least doing a bit of work. You can no longer just sit and trade against and get free damage against infantry squads, get free engagements for Volsgrens, which is nice. It's a good change. It's a capping unit more than anything else, not a combat effective one. It's a good capping order so far from Brosras. It actually cut off a few of the points that Talisman's been trying to go for, but Talisman now with an excellent engagement will actually force off a rifleman squad to hopefully get some points back. Fuel control is really important. Again, as we've mentioned with the light vehicle pressure, and we already have seen Brosras go for the fuel decap, as well as holding his own fuel for the entirety of this game so far.
I don't remember that being there.
Pretty sure it was. I remember that being there.
Okay. There has been some map changes. I don't know if Minx is one of them.
Yeah, now I'm confused. I thought it was, but maybe you're right.
Either way, we do have the Lieutenant on the field going for a M20 immediately. Not surprised to see that one. Very hard to use the Raketten. Talisman gonna have to go for that one though. He does have 4 Volks, so he can just play the spam Panzerfaust game, but of course you do need the truck to unlock that. Though the reduced Panzerfaust cost is a welcome addition.
Certainly is. 35 munitions Faust, but not a fun time, especially in the early game where munitions are a little bit harder to come by. You're spending them more and you have less points capped, or I guess territory is a bit more fluid would be a better way of putting that. So you have less reliable munitions income. Look at a map like Minx, the munitions is actually a fairly highly contested point. It's exposed enough in the center of the map and away from the central VP in your fuel that it is actually contested. As much as there are problems with Minx Pocket, I actually do like the resource placement to a degree. It does create some cool engagements and flanks and that kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Cool plays around the fuel and just decaps on the munitions. There are a lot of ways to play it.
Okay, M20 has hit the field. No Faust just yet, so the Volks really don't have much of a choice here but to retreat. Truck is on the field, and he has plenty of fuel, so that's going to be a mechanized. Here we go.
Dude, you don't get wrecked.
What? Oh, it's battle group.
It's a
Oh my
battle
god.
group, bro.
Okay.
Out of nowhere.
Well, see, the problem with that though is if he had this battle group earlier, he would have had Faust, which would have come very handy. So generally, if you're going to go battle group, you'll get it a bit earlier than that. But at the same time, if you get it too early, it can really limit your map control because you're throwing down 300 manpower, especially then another 100 if you look at the medics.
So Talisman appears to have found his timing. Brosras gets the work done with the M20 that he wanted to, and now there's mine pressure from the M20. Once the M20 starts forcing off squads and actually gets map control, it can be dangerous. Swim Pioneers get revealed while placing a shoe mine, unfortunate.
Okay,
Brosras also sees the minesweeper.
So he can't get a Shrek because he has the sweeper. So I don't know why the Stimpires are fighting here. I thought maybe it was Talisman was trying to somehow force off the M20 by making Brosras think, oh, he must be upgrading a Shrek, else why otherwise would he be charging at my M20? But
That's a good point.
either way, heavy cover there, not quite available for the rifleman. They can kind of get around it, but depending on the angle, they're not all behind it. Especially this guy who's like bugged out.
Yeah. And he's just scared. Oh,
see,
no!
that's what you get.
Callum, you jinxed him. Damn it. He was my favorite rifleman out of the whole squad. Big problem. We just saw fused incendiaries as well, which is fun. So clearly got dodged, whatever happened. Good to see. And Faust pressure on, love it.
Well, that's two
Bit
Fausts.
of free vet, double Faust. Gonna have to follow it up with more than that if he wants to keep trading. It looks like there's going to be plenty of riflemen here to make sure the Faust doesn't come off cooldown in time to kill the M20.
Yeah, only needs 3 Fausts, but the Volks were far too low. There was no way he was going to get that wipe, and even if he did, it would have been at the cost of at least 1 Volks. So it would not have been worth it there. Talisman still not having a Raketten, so this is an interesting strategy. I'm not really sure what his plan is here.
Yeah, I mean, he's bleeding pretty hard and just solid map control by Brosras. Gonna have the cover advantage.
Okay, there's his Raketten, but it's quite late.
Goes for a 50 cal as well, which is gonna be nice. It's already pushing up. Okay, so 50 cal's arrived. Definitely nice when you are looking to set up a defensive position, which Brosras certainly is. Having the map control just wants to force the Volks to fight into him at a disadvantage. Bleed Talisman even further in terms of manpower. At this point, you know, Talisman's probably down a squad. Like you wipe another couple
Oh,
of
that
bottles.
Kubel is so dead. Had to go forwards, up, face through the M20. Didn't really have much choice there. If he went backwards, he would have died. So it's a shame. Kubel could have been very useful for capping points, especially where it is now. It's not really salvageable.
Only a bit of a throwaway. I don't know why I decided. I guess last second to flank the 50 cal and try and get back to base. It's not like you could flank a MG with a Kubel wagon and DPS it down anymore. Even the crew's gonna have to have something to say about that. So this 50 cal being forced off. The Volks have arrived. That's a nice retreat. And take any unnecessary bleed, and we've seen that consistently from Brosras. Very early retreats for the most part, unless he's looking to get a squad low for a reason, which is a smart way to play. Not only is it saving you manpower, you have to remember it's time out on the map. It takes more time to reinforce and heal out that squad, so you have less map pressure when you let the squads get bled down.
Well, a lot of bazookas on the field. Brosras must have seen, or rather not seen, the Raketten and assumed that he was going for a vehicle of some kind from a mechanized. So these bazookas won't have much to do just yet, apart from blowing up sandbags.
Which they do very effectively here, forcing off the Volks. Raketten's still stealth, so Brosras still with... Oh no, there we go. Okay, first shot comes out.
Uh-oh, late response. Is he going to pop the smoke here? Oh, wow. Very late and no smoke. M20 goes down. Big mistake there from Brosras.
Pretty big miss, Micro. Especially with not much to do in the middle. Not really an excuse to do that. Nice clicking, Callum. I see you, a dead end 20 and I raise you a squad of paratroopers.
This is actually a really big problem here for Brosras now, having invested in all these bazookas and then having lost his M20. Paratroopers, though, are going to be very nice to give him this strong anti-infantry punch. Has the choice of either the LMGs or the Thompsons. Given this map, I would expect to see the LMGs, though the Thompsons are always quite powerful. As for Talisman, he actually locked in his Luftwaffe, so he has access to the Fallschirmjägers. Cheaper now, but they only spawn as 3 men, so it's a bit harder to use them in the ambush. The ambushing thing. Roll.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the cheesy squad wiper on retreat.
Essentially the only thing they were ever used for. You just retreat them and leave them somewhere. 375 VPs for Talisman, 374 for Brosras. We have even things up from the start of the game. Feel fairly even.
Now, good thing he forced off the 50 cal. 50 cal maybe could have wiped the Volks there. Wow, very deep is this Rocket. He actually went for the Greyhound. So that's the one of the call-ins there for the recon support company. Greyhound's pretty powerful and has a canister shot, which is pretty nuts.
See if that gets used here. There's certainly going to be opportunities with that rocket and firing.
Okay, there's no smoke on the Greyhound like the M20, but it does have more health, so it can survive 2 shots.
This is very smart play. Greyhound actually still contributing to this fight, but we'll back away now. The Roketten's rolling forward.
Whoa.
Okay, nasty. Was that the airborne or was that a canister shot or something like that?
Oh, that was a grenade.
Pretty
no.
sure that was the airborne.
No, yeah, it was a grenade.
Yeah, I was going to say.
There was even the audio cue for it as well. So Brosras, he's gone all of his upgrades, because he went his grenades too, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he didn't. Okay, no, the airborne don't require the grenade package.
Yeah.
That's a nice little bonus for him, but he certainly has the weapon racks, has an M20 and a Greyhound. Doesn't really have a strong late game on this commander, so he will need to go for his major. Has the fuel for that, but not quite much of the manpower at the moment.
Yeah, it should be fine. I mean, this is striking me as a major game anyway, so regardless of the commander choice, the major not going to be a big deal for Brosras. Still plenty of good late game on the USF major.
He has to be so careful with his canister shot available. Going for the Faust like that is not worth it, because you can get wiped so easily. It's really hard to actually get the Roketten on this Greyhound here, because even the Roketten's got to be careful about the canister shot. Oh wow. I thought I heard the canister, but obviously it didn't. But double Roketten's come through though. Great flank maneuver. Gets that Greyhound down. So that's 2 light vehicles down the drain for Brosras, and that Greyhound didn't actually do all much.
Not really. No wipes certainly created a lot of pressure, but no wipes. And wipes is certainly what you want. Getting the Volts numbers down means the riflemen are just going to trade better and better as the game goes on.
Yeah, the
unit.
unit.
But unfortunate, just really good Roketten positioning from Talisman. Hey, when you've got a small amount of units, micro them well, and you can get something out of it.
Yeah, there's been a lot of Volks bled, but the manpower, you know, it's fine because he didn't lose any squads. That's really important there for his veterancy as well. You can see the Volks are actually higher veterancy than the Riflemen, because the Riflemen weren't the ones doing the bleed. It was the Greyhound and the M20 for the most part. So that's not a good thing there for Brosras, because then he's going to be falling behind in the veterancy battles, and especially if he's relying on these bazookas. It's not good versus those STG Volks.
It's pretty weird that he went for bazookas on 2 squads of riflemen, and none on the echelon. Like, that just strikes me as weird. And there's one on the lieutenant. It doesn't strike me as a very smart play.
Well, it's nice because then you get the snares, the AT grenades on the same squad.
It's true.
And they're a bit tougher than the echelon, so it is sort of common. Sometimes you'll see players get 1 bazooka and 1 bar, so they're pretty sturdy. It's only 1 bazooka, so he still has slots there for the bars. but doesn't have the munitions, especially with all the grenades he's been throwing. And going for the LMGs now. I do like to see that.
Yeah. I guess a cover everything build isn't bad, you know, when you're ahead in terms of map territory and you're playing well. If you've got a squad that counters everything, you never really get caught out.
Oh, he also has an AT gun.
Yeah, it's just been chilling at the base the whole time. Just hasn't capped it yet. So.
Well, it's good not to do that, because otherwise you're just wasting pop cap, and that even when you're not pop capped in terms of your maximum limit, it still does deplete your upkeep.
Yeah.
So your manpower income is lower, and then of course you're reinforcing squads. So it's a good decision there until you see a vehicle, or at least you know a vehicle is coming. And with OKW, you have a really big window where if they don't have mech, then you're not going to see a tank for some time. Whereas with allies, with Soviets and US in particular, is you got to always expect those light tanks, the T-70, the Stewart, and so forth. Whereas with both Axis factions, apart from those early scout cars, you have a lot of time before the tier 3 and then the P4 eventually hits the field.
Absolutely.
See, now he gets it because the timing. He knows that, okay, maybe Talisman's going to have something. And he's still actually quite far off, though, but you don't always know what your opponent's fuel situation is like.
Getting it preemptively, always the best. A couple of these squads could actually be in trouble if they're not being microed. Quite low on the bolts, and the Strum Pioneer is not actually moving. There's the retreat. Okay, that's good. Major doesn't exactly have a huge wipe potential. I see a red smoke.
I just realized how strong this is now with tier 2, because you get an AT gun, so you don't really have much weaknesses when going the lieutenant now, because you still get that AT, and of course you're getting a paratrooper squad. It does cost you 80 munitions, so it's going to really deprive your paratroopers the ability to get the upgrades, or at least not the rifleman as well.
Yep.
But I think with this commander, I think the lieutenant play makes a lot of sense.
That was actually a really nice major RD being called in by Brosras. It's certainly difficult ability to land on a squad on retreat, but actually timed it really well. Had the scatter been on point, would have found a Strum Pioneer wipe probably. So, yeah, that was cool. Unsuccessful, but as long as the attempts are there, eventually something gets pulled off. Ouch. Sherman's still strong.
So Talisman has his Panzer headquarters. So, and he has his fuel pretty secure now, double Raketen. So I think we'll just see him hold this fuel for a little bit until he gets his Panzer IV out.
Yep.
And then we'll see him play a bit more on the aggressive side.
I'd like to see him go for I mean, it's going to be hard to look for a munitions cap, but it kind of needs it. It's really bleeding munitions. Talisman is hurting. Still 2 squads of Volks Grenadiers without STGs even, and we're 18 minutes into the game now. It's strange.
Yeah, that's true, and Brosras is benefiting from his munitions very well. He's got a lot of weapon upgrades. He's used that ability. He's got all kinds of other support powers he can use to actually provide bonuses. The cluster bombs is a new ability that hopefully we'll see. The raid allows you to capture points very quickly. So Brosras definitely will benefit from the munitions if Talisman doesn't prevent him from holding 2 munis points. Like, now would be a good time to use them.
Yeah, sure. Just, yeah, I haven't seen it since the changes, so is it just a move the support weapon ability? Is it a so we use wipe on retreat? I guess we'll find out.
And
so it's pretty cheap, no
vehicles.
munitions.
Detonate on impact, so it's sort of just like a strike, but it has a very big scatter. I don't know, we'll see.
And towards our victory points, 266 for Talisman, has been bleeding. Still the 374 for Brosras. Has stabilized as of about halfway through the current game.
Now, Scott's interesting, the howitzer carriage. So I think he wants to really put the pressure on and try and siege down this Panzer headquarters and really shove the middle VP, try and look for wipes. As opposed to what you normally see, which is just multiple Shermans and then eventually a Jackson.
Makes the most sense. Like with the Sherman as well, and the fact that he has bazookas on these troops, you can always kind of bait the Panzer headquarters to target like a tank, like drive the Sherman in, and then just fire a volley of bazookas off before it can retarget.
Because you can't actually micro.
Can't micro it,
which is quite frustrating. But Yeah, the bazookas, they have a really good DPS. It's just their penetration and even their accuracy is bad, but against buildings, that's just completely thrown out the window, and they're very effective. So, yeah, he's going to have one Sherman there for the flanks. Going to have howitzer carriage there for the middle, so this could be pretty deadly, but this Sherman's getting pretty weak. There is some squads moving up here. Pops the smoke there from the Sherman, and he's going to have to set up this Raketin in front of a lot of riflemen to make it the kill. Oh my god.
Fantastic. I have to say, the Raketin micro from Talisman has been beautiful. I think it's not a very well-recognized trait among great players is the ability to move around AT guns and reposition them, particularly on things like medium tank dives. I know you had a really good one last night that you were telling me about in terms of AT gun repositioning, but such a hard thing to do, and knowing exactly, where do I want this AT gun set up? How far do I walk forward? What's my reload? There are so many factors to consider. Elevation, there's a lot of stuff involved there, and the reposition to get the kill, it looks pretty simple. It's actually quite involved, and thus far Talisman has had pretty much perfect micro with the Raketins.
There's a pretty big misplay there though from Talisman.
Oh, yeah.
The Sherman not only was driving around with half health, he also misplaced the smoke because he placed it a bit too far behind, and the Raketin just went around it and was able to fire despite that. So the smoke could have been positioned better. Unfortunately, he didn't have the grenade package, so he wasn't able to use the smoke from his echelon. That could have saved him there, but not having that upgrade available.
And if the Panzer headquarters went down now, that'd be brutal. There's a Panther building at the moment from Talisman. It's still getting barraged. The Panzer headquarters is quite low.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure it survives here, but it's going to be close.
Yeah, the M1 was wiped, so that should be okay. Though the Volks are suppressed.
And the Scots still firing.
Yeah. Oh, the Panzer headquarters start. Oh my god, what's that coming from the major? No, that's actually the butterfly
cluster
bombs.
How much damage is it going to do? I'm pretty sure the Panther gets out.
I don't think it'll do much. It's probably anti-infantry. That being said, it's going to be a close one.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, they didn't do much. It survived. The Panther has also arrived. That being said, the M1 can be capped, as can the Raketin. So he may still wipe this, which would be very punishing. Down she goes. But the Panther is on the field. Wow.
You can definitely see what Brosras was going for. Assuming that there wasn't a tank out yet, that would have been incredibly punishing. And totally worth this manpower trade that he's got going on. Actually managed to keep the M1 alive, I think, there as well. That's cool.
Yeah.
Evacs in, gets it out of there, and the Raketin's going to be recapped, but that's fine. So nice play. Unfortunately, it's not going to pan out. The Panther's already on the field. Panther, of course, not really what you want now the Sherman's gone down. A Panzer IV would have put a lot more pressure on now, but Panther's going to scale much better and have less of an issue with these bazookas.
So the butterfly bombs may have actually worked better had he used them on the infantry to force the infantry off rather than to try and finish off the Panzer headquarters. Because if he was able to, I don't know if they suppress infantry, but make them retreat, then the bazookas would have been there long enough in the M1. So I think that's Brosras' problem here. He's been very hesitant to use this, and he's had a lot of munitions banked up. And so there's been a couple of really good opportunities where he could have, and had he done that, this game could have been very different.
Certainly looks like it's hardcore area denial. Just you would not want to be anywhere near those cluster bombs when they fell.
Yeah.
Your support weapons would just have to evac, get the hell out of there. You just would not want to be in that area. So in terms of stuff like VP control, I can see it being very effective. And surprise, Brosras, I got a tank out.
Okay, the M1's very low, but Panther's going to back away from here, that one. Also increase the sight. I didn't know it did that. Increase the sight range. So that could help with MG positioning. Quite a useful ability. But normally as US, you don't have all this spare munitions like we see now.
Yeah, Brosras certainly counting his lucky stars. He already has all his upgrades and now can focus kind of solely on artillery. Or off maps, I guess you call it.
You see this MG34 is doing very well for himself. He's already vet 3 with 11 kills.
Scott's trying hard, but the crew is fairly spaced. So even if a shot connects here, it's not going to wipe the MG, which is unfortunate. This is a fantastic Panther play.
Yeah, there's the Ambo's running for his dear life. The M8 actually takes a Raketin shot as well. The Panther can finish him off here. Down goes the Scott. Will they continue for the Ambo? No, I don't know if he actually saw that one, so he's going to let it live.
Probably assumes that the ambulance is going to be in the base. See what I mean with a Raketin? Even that shows micro potential. It's like waited to get the Raketin shot off until after the Panther had shot and revealed itself, because at that point, stuff's going to be backing away anyway. You don't want.
Oh my God.
What you don't want to do is your AT guns fire and they just ruin the surprise or the flank, and the M1's going to go down.
Yeah, that was really well timed. So he may be able to blow up the M1 with the Raketins.
Double Raketin and a Panther, well prepared.
So he's going
awesome.
to cap it pretty. No, not in time to destroy that one. And wow, these Raketins actually getting pretty deep. Somehow the 50 cals managed to flank it and could actually decrew this one.
Should be the double retreat coming in.
Wow.
Yes, a successful decrew. Fantastic. 50 cal actually packs up, resets the other. What are you shooting at? There must be a squad.
I think he's
over
trying to
there.
wipe maybe the Raketin. Doesn't want to get it stolen. Yeah, he's actually destroying it. He doesn't really need it, given that he has the Panther.
Gonna cap it anyway. So.
Oh, got suppressed
Oh.
last minute. I just think he really doesn't want it in the hands of Brosras, and
Yeah.
you know that makes sense because this Panther is pretty damn strong, short of a Jackson arriving.
It's literally the last second. Unfortunately, the Panther shot doesn't connect. That'll
Oh,
mean a little
man.
bit more manpower bleed. Oh no, Talisman's only gonna take one more shot. Oh, not again!
Yeah, the Raketin is stolen, and the Panther now has to back away. He does pop a squad of the Falchions. He puts it in his base so that he can reinforce it. Not having access to his Panzer headquarters means Ober's no longer an option, though at least he does have the Falchions. So he's going to have something to try and match these paratroopers, but the paratroopers are definitely a stronger squad, especially if they're playing at long range with those LMGs.
Man, that is really rough. Twice for the Panther as the last shot's about to connect. Brosras finds the cap. It'd be infuriating.
Yeah, the Raketin has a really small target size, so hitting those things at long range is quite frustrating. You will have a better chance of hitting it if you move closer to it, but often that's not worth the risk when there's bazooka blobs running around.
Certainly increases the danger. Okay, so Talisman has managed to find a few munitions. That's nice. Panther has an upgrade. All our Volts have STGs. Not in an awful position anymore. We'll actually be going for the triple truck. Heading towards a KT, which is excellent on the map.
Yeah, that makes the most sense. Rebuilding the Panzer headquarters is just generally not worth it. Hoarding munitions would be very useful as well, because he's going to have access to the free squad strafe, which would allow him to get some really good engagements, get a squad of Falchions out, which he would need. It's actually better now because it works in anywhere. Before you had to click on a point, so it was a bit harder to use, especially defensively.
Yeah. Even more manpower bleed here for Talisman. Nice to see him going for the sneaky beaky caps on the victory points to the edges. Certainly a good strat. Occasionally players will just leave, especially at lower levels. Like I always like to just leave a squad inside the garrison, and that gives you a bit of safety. You never really have to worry about that victory point. It's not a very contested location. It's all about these fights in the middle. So go with the sneaky cap to see if your opponent has anything there. Very smart. Buys you a little bit more time for VPs, pretty much for free. Just sending one squad there.
It's just always so risky if a HE Sherman shows up and just wipes you on retreat, even if you're at full health.
Yeah.
That being said, Brosras does actually have 3 AT guns now to his name, one of which being a Raketin, so perhaps the Stuka will be the decided choice for Talisman rather than going for his King Tiger. These LMG paratroopers are also quite static, so having that Stuka would definitely make it harder for Brosras' composition.
Very well hashed out unit composition now for Brosras. 280 fuel float, so I would like to see a tank here to finish it off. HE Sherman makes the most sense to me. There's plenty of supporting AT with the Zooks and triple AT gun. Like, a Jackson, as good as the health buff is, I feel would be overkill at this stage. So.
Yeah. Also, throwing down some mines would be really useful. They're only the temporary slow mines, but they're cheap, and it can make a big difference there. If you had some earlier, the Panther wouldn't be able to dive as far. Or at least, had the Panther needed to dive further to finish off the howitzer carriage, it could have been tagged and bazooka blobbed. But it's a pretty hard composition to add anything else into. He's not even fully reinforced, and doing so may make him unable to actually get a tank. Just needs to get some more bars. He'll benefit from that, because I don't think all these squads have 2 weapons.
No, I'm pretty sure.
There's a lot of them
Just
don't.
the Zook for that squad at least.
Yeah.
So. There are no bars I see before me, just the Zooks. Falchions. Not getting much done. Very difficult to use a zero squad in this situation. Especially when Volsham's, want to engage it a little bit closer. And some of these squads would prefer, I mean, if they get retargeted here, it's just like, that's 2 models down. But I guess the nade's good support.
Oh, yeah, uses the Valiant Assault, but not enough. Suppression as well coming through from the side. Actually did manage to wipe a 50 cal though. That's a really nice pickup. Valiant Assault, it does give a damage buff there, so we can see how powerful this is, and the Rifleman actually could get wiped.
It's going to be a double wipe. Fantastic play from Talisman, an excellent bait.
Wow.
Wow, well played.
Is he going to steal this 50 cal?
I would like to see the
There we
steal.
go.
Definitely needs it. Okay, we need to see retreats coming out.
Well, maybe
immediately.
He had the option to just keep it there, but I think it was dead either way. That was double paratrooper LMGs. Unfortunate, but still good trade there. In particular, wiping the rifle squad. The veterancy always so important in that late game.
Good to see Brosras rotating up nice and quickly with those paratroopers, ensuring the 50 cal isn't stolen away. Intelligent play. So Talisman's just playing on a timer, trying to get as many VPs, keep as many VPs to his name as possible until the KT shows up. And he can actually start trading and probably contesting this middle VP.
Look at that sight range. That is so strong to have on a 50 cal. But not enough to see the flank coming. So yeah, that's the real threat here. Talisman is then getting dangerously low on the VPs. And even getting the King Tiger isn't going to be the game winner. Just so many AT guns.
Definitely not a guarantee. All routed out his pop cap nicely. We'll at least return to an even game with the KT on the field.
Okay, that's a very, very nice pickup if he managed to get this Rocket. And the Stern Pioneers, oh my god. They messed that up. Another Valiant Assault was popped. I think he was microing this engagement here. Gets flanked by a squad of the paratroopers and gets engaged by the left. So a lot of action all over the place. This isn't just sort of a blob versus blob, which I do quite like to see. Very tactical, a lot of flanking involved. Panther though being able to force away these squads and not having any anti-tank, not having any AT grenades. So I like what this Panther's been doing. It's been not overextending itself, but still trying to force away squads that it can.
Having a bit of veterancy as well. Nice to see Talisman regaining the central VP.
Okay, this is the butterfly bombs.
It's butterfly bombs, it is.
You actually can dodge it because they fall pretty slowly. Oh,
Yeah.
nice play there by Talisman. Avoids that one entirely.
I wonder if he goes next level and like tilts his camera view directly up so he can like individually micro like the MG. Like, do you get what I mean? Like change the camera angle. So he's like looking down at where the butterfly bombs are falling.
Okay.
So instead of trying
Or
to
he's
do it from an
probably
angle.
just seeing where the smoke was.
Bro,
Sorry.
come on. It's way swaggier
It is
if you
handy, though,
dodge,
doing
dodge
that
in and out of
sometimes.
the bombs.
It is handy doing that sometimes though.
Yeah.
Like, can't remember what applications there are, but I've done it a few times before.
Does it let me see rifle nade animations more easily? Or?
Well, it does up until they bug out 30% of the time.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Okay, he's got to
30%
be
of the
careful
time, it
because
works
these
every
AT guns
time.
are undefended, and that MG is doing some crazy damage.
Hello, I heard you like incendiary rounds. Brosras is just running through the middle of this VP.
So this is exactly how
Interesting
how
play.
the Panther should be used. Is don't try and look for damage when there's 2 and even 3 AT guns in the middle. Go for a flank, look for a squad that you know is exposed and doesn't have any anti-tank. Force that squad off, because that will give you better map control, allow you to cap up the right flank, and just get more resource income, which is very important. So I definitely like Talisman's, really his tactics of how he uses his squads.
Yeah. It's annoying that Brosras really doesn't have a squad that he can just send to that left side VP and just hold a garrison. I'm pretty sure the Volts will just lose if... sorry, the paratroopers will just lose if... Oh, they might win. If the Volts run up and incendy, even if they dodge, I feel like they lose to the SDGs. I guess it depends on how well they set up, though.
Well, it doesn't matter because the Panther just shows up.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, the Panther can just push that side, but... I mean... I'm less talking about capping the VP for the sake of capping the VP. Talking about capping the VP to create less pressure in the middle of the map so we can regain the middle VP.
So that was the major arty. So it does force the retreat on the MG, which is very important because it allows Brosras now to cap the Raketten and the 50 cal. So it's a shame Talisman wasn't able to deny either of those weapons. Brosras now getting another howitzer carriage.
Might even be worth blowing up the Raketten at this point. Like double M1 is good with Zooks. I don't know.
Yeah, Talisman though definitely going for the King Tiger at this point. The Jackson's really better against the King Tiger. It's funny saying this now, but just because AT guns and infantry squads can just get wiped so easily, you can't really rely on them against the King Tiger. Whereas with the Jackson, on a map that's open, you're just gonna outrange it and just force it off pretty easily. And the King Tiger's been nerfed, but still, it's still incredibly potent, obviously, against squads. Valiant Assault again, so really throwing this one out. I suppose the problem with using the Valiant Assault is it'll give him another squad, which will put him over the pop cap for his King Tiger.
Yeah.
But it's nice seeing this. So many times we see players just not use these abilities. In particular, the Advanced Cover Combat is notorious for just not ever being used, despite being a good ability.
I see Talisman being nice and active in that regard, and only using the ability, actually making use of the ability, running squads around.
Man,
cool.
if Relic used Grammarly on their tooltips, it would not be happy about the word effectively. Effectively overused word. May I suggest something else, like powerfully or whatever? Grammarly does not like effectively.
No? Not a big fan?
Very overused.
Yeah. I mean, is it overused because it's a good word, though? That's like saying, I don't know, like...
Well,
StarCraft is an overplayed RTS, so...
Well, I think what it means by that is it's very broad. It can be used in a lot of different ways, which then makes it less interesting as a word. Uh-oh. Squad wipe warning. Almost. As opposed to something more specific to the context.
Yeah.
So, what was it? You know, attack units more, you know, brutally. Like something that's has the connotation of damage or infliction or harm, as opposed to effectively, which can be used in a negative or positive connotation. It's very, yeah, a very broad term, which makes it then less interesting. And I think that applies to lots of things. Understood.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm digging.
Needs more dragons.
That's my nod. I got the nod going on.
Well, we got Blake's pro
throw down.
vocabulary. Now
Yeah.
we got Callum's pro grammar, or
Grammar, yeah.
whatever you want to call it, writing
Together,
styles.
all General Gem subscribers will have a basic grasp of the English language. So,
I can't actually say that I'm a professional writer, given that I do write for GameCloud.net.au. Recently, I wrote my review for Divinity Original Sin 2 in the process of writing my review for Spellforce 3.
You write that onto your HTC One phone, or no? Was it on your Acer Predator gaming laptop?
Man,
or no?
my GTX 1070 Ti.
Yeah. King Tiger starting to get work done in the middle now. Has forced off several squads. The issue with the composition here is it does bleed.
Wow, this
Bleeds real
penetration, no HEVAP rounds. Despite that, King Tiger gets forced off very quickly. Jackson's being built. King Tiger's missing a lot.
Wow.
I believe it was the scatter that was increased as opposed to the damage.
King Tiger could have died there, by the way.
Yeah.
That was a M1 shot bounce and double Dukes bounce. It actually would have died.
He also didn't have the munitions for take aim, which
Yeah.
would have given him an extra shot or two.
yeah.
Now, wiping this is really important. The veterancy is so good on these US AT guns, so that's a really nice pickup there. Got to be careful about the wipe here. So low. And the House of Carriage is just a wiping machine.
I guess the Faust was nice, but it doesn't mean you're static. Scott isn't good at hitting moving targets, but staying still for a Faust is an interesting play. Top 3 captain car, 118 VPs compared to the 253 of Brosras now. Yeah, it's looking super good for Brosras. If Brosras can kill the KT, then he'll be in a good spot. But up until then, it's just a lot of manpower bleed.
Yeah, the Stimp on his repair
Oh,
speed.
he's going for it.
Oh my god, he is. Wow, the Panther's nowhere nearby. Got to flank off with the Jackson here. This King Tiger is going down short of a miracle. Brosras there, just got to make sure he keeps circling this main gun. One shot will come through, but that's not going to be enough. Out of control is the King Tiger. The Panther's going to be arriving, has access to the Blitzkrieg, but not the munitions. The Jackson may even survive.
Damn, what a play.
He's going to have vision from the 50 cal. That'll allow him to get an extra shot.
Jackson health buff.
Yeah, that's nice to see. Oh, the Panther misses despite being stationary. The grenade comes through. M1's firing as well. The Panther could also fall here, and this would be disastrous. The Panther's destroyed, as is the Jackson, but that is a win for Brosras.
Gotta be fantastic work. Jackson flanked out of nowhere. He didn't even have vision. Brosras didn't have vision. He's just like, I reckon you KT somewhere over there. I reckon you don't have repairs.
Did he use the raid? Yeah, that's on cooldown.
Yeah,
so maybe
he did.
he
Yeah,
had crazy vision and actually saw it. Bit of a misplay there, I suppose, from Talisman having his King Tiger pretty far forward.
Or just having the Panther too far back. Like, no support.
Well, the Panther had damaged engine, so that was sort of a problem. The King Tiger should have definitely been back at base. That being said, he didn't know that Brosras had any vehicles, and for quite some time, the only vehicles that he had was the howitzer carriage. So these mistakes do happen, but it's a very costly mistake, and with only 120 VPs, it's perhaps will be the end of him.
Certainly could be game ending. Yeah, losing the Panther was just crushing.
Wow, he hit a shoe mine there. Not going to be enough to get a wipe here. See, oh man, this howitzer carriage has had really unlucky shells because this thing is normally so effective at wiping squads. Main gun destroyed as well. Jeez, he's going to get taken out by the next. No, he retreats. Oh, okay, so
there is a flank going on. So it looks like Talisman's going to try and stay in this one. Second KT, or it's a lot of fuel to get to on 115 VPs. I don't know if it's possible.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to afford that.
And this is probably going to be a triple cap as well. Fairly brutal. Nice Jackson play. Love to see a good flank.
So the Jackson can survive 2 King Tiger shots now before it would take it taken out in 2 shots. So even if you would flank a King Tiger like that, it was so easy to just lose the Jackson, which was very frustrating. So my Jackson buff is just, it makes me feel like a more satisfied human and has made a wipe.
My name is better than yours. Predictions.
Yeah. I had this void inside of me, this sad, miserable void, and it's been filled with the Jackson buff. So.
Yeah. You have seemed to have a more happy-go-lucky personality ever since.
Yeah, more
Jackson
success. You know, I got a promotion, I got married. All it took was a Jackson buff. You know. Not really. There's always that one guy that takes things seriously.
So, I have to put in the just in case. Yeah, 2 squad wipes just to really nail the coffin. Yeah, paratroopers are strong. Strong Combat 3 with double.
Yeah, it's a good map for them. HMGs are probably your best bet at countering them, just like any other long range squad. Which I guess sort of was why Brosras wanted their howitzer carriage. The MGs were a threat. If Talisman went 2 MGs, the airborne wouldn't be able to do much. So having the howitzer carriage, I think, was actually pretty smart. It didn't really do a lot though, but it always had the option to just squad wipe out of nowhere, so I think the choice was fine. Yeah, I mean, well played game by both of our players. Talisman's certainly making a few critical mistakes where it mattered, in regards to his King Tiger in particular. The Panther was kind of bad luck, I suppose, but the King Tiger was definitely a mistake. Yeah, I like Brosras' playstyle, and I think one of also Talisman's big problems is that he just gave so much munitions over to Brosras. He was able to continuously use this raid tactics, very, very strong there for the sight range, on a map where the sight range matters. And, normally if you're going to be doing that, you're going to be depriving yourself of all those juicy grenades and upgrades, but he was able to just have so much munitions in the bank, get all his weapon upgrades, throw a lot of grenades, and still able to have the spare cash for the abilities and the cluster bomb. So denying munitions is important. Not always just against, not only against Axis, rather, against allies. sometimes it is important against Soviets, like, not so much really, unless they have a certain commander.
I mean, like, USF in general is like munitions heavy, and this commander is like crazy because you add on the raid tactics, you add on the 80 munitions for the drop, you add on the upgrade cost for these paratroopers as well, and that's like in addition to all your regular munitions.
They even get suppressing fire.
Yeah,
and the other thing as well we didn't even see is the IR paratroopers. They get that really strong artillery strike. So you can use that to, force away squads, get some wipes if squads don't react quickly. So that's another munitions investment. So yeah, it's a nice commander now. I don't know how good the Greyhound is. I've seen it get a nasty wipe with the canister. It didn't do well this game, obviously, but I think the Greyhound's actually quite potent. So I think we'll see more of this commander. I hope we do. So yeah, that'll wrap us up for now. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. We're excited this patch is finally here, and it's revitalized a lot of people's interest and passion for the game, which is always nice.
Absolutely, and ours included in that as well. So it's always good to cast, fresh meta, fresh games. So thank you for watching. I'm sure we'll have plenty more games on the new patch to come soon.